You are listening to Subject to Change. Real people experiencing real life, unscripted.
All right, well, welcome back from that quick break.
Thanks for hanging around.
Yeah, we appreciate your
all this resolution talk. Leads
Yeah,
us
so
into-
we're moving back into it.
Yes. So a couple things that I wanted to do. So on the topic of resolutions, so we have, like Mallory and I mentioned a few episodes ago about going to Alex Sheen.
yes.
Dad, do you want to bring that up on? Yeah, so this is Alex Sheen.
I'm a super fan.
Is he
His-
12?
Not really, but like
His
I am.
movement's really great.
Is he 12?
Actually, no. I think that's a younger picture of him because he looks
He looks older than that.
Yeah, when we saw him last month.
Yeah.
And it was like a exercise. What was it? It was a resilience series, is what it was.
It was, yeah.
Yeah, and it was about setting goals for yourself, but then like the how, and then like the attainable ones. But he divided them into categories, and it was actually really neat. But he's a TED Talk speaker, and they actually have a headquarters in is it Walhanding, where Indian Bear Winery used to be out in Coshocton County. They have a nonprofit camp out there and hold a bunch of events and stuff, and so it's really cool. So
He's
shout
really
out
cool
to
too.
Alex
He's
Sheen.
So personable, and he was great with us.
Yeah, it was really awesome. So part of his movement is these cards, and so the movement's called Because I Said I Would. Yes. So in these
In
cards,
this picture we have him up
Yes.
says, because I said it would.
Yes. So the point of the cards is to write down a promise that you're going to make to yourself, but then you're going to give that to someone else to hold you accountable. So when you complete it, you get the card back. So it's in their possession. You do not get it back until you fulfilled that promise.
Which I love.
Ooh.
Yes, it can be anything.
Well, what's the
Timeline, no
punishment if you
timeline.
don't?
There's no punishment. It's just
Oh.
holding yourself accountable. There's no punishment,
You have
Dad.
to run 7 miles, and it's timed.
So maybe I could put on there the 21 day.
Yes, that's
right?
why I
Like,
thought
yeah.
this was
So
great.
I'll hold
because-
Amy's card and I'll be like, get down and give me 20.
Yeah, so this would be a good like accountability thing for
How do you know you haven't had sugar for 21 days,
Yeah.
Amy? How do you?
How do we know?
How do I know?
Dad
Blood
will be
sugar
texting
test.
you every day. So I thought we could do that. I have the cards with us, plenty. Dad, would you like to participate?
Wait, we're doing an exercise? Like
We're doing an exercise.
Do we hold hands or do we
That was the
stand up
exorcism. I
and
don't know where my
sing? What?
No,
My
we're
eye.
doing the cards, and then we're going to share. And
So all our listeners will also participate.
So
They'll-
they're all going to hold us accountable.
Yeah.
Which is
Oh.
the goal.
yeah, well,
Oh.
we're going to hold each other accountable,
Right, which
So-
should be
Two.
reason enough, but just
So what happens while we're writing down what we want? Wait, I didn't prepare for this.
neither did I.
Oh.
But it's okay.
We'll just write the first thing that comes to mind.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Okay.
So that I don't think it's going to include your guest because I won't be back to see.
That's okay. We
Oh.
can still hold you accountable, Amy, wherever you
And we
want.
could have you back when we
Yeah.
when do
when
we
you
do this
fulfill that
accountability
said
thing? When do we-
promise.
It's your own timeline.
sure you
It
take
doesn't have to be, you could check back in a year.
Yeah.
Like it's not.
So for our listeners, we're encouraging them to do the same thing.
Yes,
Get a
absolutely.
card.
And
with
you
your
can go to his
partner, with your
website and
friends,
find the cards.
with anyone, a person on the street, and just say, "You hold me accountable."
Yeah.
Okay.
Does
Because I
any-
said I would.
Yes, because I said I would.
Do you have an
so-
extra pen?
Oh,
I
yeah,
was just going to say,
sorry,
do you have a pen?
Mine is going to be bringing more pens. No, I'm just kidding.
Now, are we going to share these with the audience? Okay.
Yes.
Do I put my name on it?
No, you don't have to because you're giving it to somebody else. They'll know.
Does commit have 1 T or 2?
1. Wait, maybe while we're doing this, we need,
Some music.
something to listen to.
Yes. It's my healing song.
Oh, Sarah's a lefty.
I am. Mom.
You know who was a lefty in our family?
Who?
Our grandmother,
Really?
Isabel.
Are you lefty, Sarah?
Yeah.
I am. Sammy is too.
Oh, Sammy's a lefty.
Wait, none of us are lefties? Just Sarah?
Grandma Weatherworth.
What about grandkids? We know.
Elliot? Well, he's not.
Is it
No,
okay
I
if
don't
these
think
are?
any- I know my daughter's not, or any of your kids besides Sarah.
No, none of my kids besides Sarah.
Why?
Whoa.
Wow, are you writing a book, Sarah? Can I borrow the pen?
Oh, yeah, sorry. So let me spell it out. Oh. A, B, C, D, F, U, and your mom and your sister.
Did you just say A, B, C, D, E, F, G? Okay, I think we got them.
Okay.
Amy, you got yours?
Yes.
Okay.
What's yours? Mine's selfish.
No, it's not. Oh, yeah. Who wants
We're
mine?
just gonna read each other's, or
Who wants mine? Oh,
okay,
yeah.
I'll take
Let's
yours.
share them. And
Let's
then
share them.
Let's share them first and then pass them around. Okay.
What do you mean share
No,
'em?
you're going to share yours. We're going to share we're going
Oh,
to
I'm
share
gonna read it?
individual ones. Yes. Okay. So mine is I promise I will have a routine that is stable in 3 months, morning and night, that is good for my mental health. So like,
okay.
because I've lost that, I don't have anything, and that helps my mental health stay stable.
Okay,
Okay. 3 months
I like that.
from today.
Repeat that again for our listeners.
I promise I will have a routine that is stable in 3 months, morning and night, that is good for my mental health. So that would be
Well, let's talk about that.
March.
What does that mean, a routine?
Yeah.
So,
Brushing your teeth is a routine,
like,
hopefully.
working out in the morning, reading at night, doing maybe like Bible study at night, some self-care, just establishing something that gets me. I have to do that for myself.
Meditation.
Yeah. Meditation.
No, I love that. Yeah,
Yeah.
you have to have a routine.
Yeah.
That routine is good.
Not
I,
just
I
sitting
like
there
the reading
scrolling
thing.
on the phone and less
I
phone
will
time.
say, when I started reading, which I never did, honestly, even in school or anything, I never read a thing. I got Cliff Notes. I would hit the joke, after I got divorced and had this friend group and we had a book club, and they to this day joke with me like I never read the books. I just went there. I'm like, what? I thought it was just a social thing. And they'd be talking about the book. I'm like, I have no idea what you guys are talking about. So, anyways, I think reading, any of those, and when you had that routine, when I started reading routinely, it really did help. I just felt satisfied in the world. It was so good.
I had a really good routine before the split, so I lost that in the last 6 months. So it's important to me to get it back.
That's good. That's a promise thing.
Yeah.
Kind of like a resolution, but a promise thing, according to Alex Sheen, because you said you would. Amy.
I said I will commit to doing the 21-day challenge this year at least 3 times.
Ooh, I love
Ooh,
it.
that's good.
Nice. That's 63 days, if you guys are counting out
3
there.
days.
Man, no, that's beautiful.
I
Good
love
math,
that.
Dad.
And we talked
Thank
about
you.
that. Like, that's so good. I know. Even Einstein couldn't do arithmetic, but I'm
So
not
it'll be
Einstein.
3
so I can do
separate
arithmetic.
things for 21, 3 different things. And I was just sitting here thinking I'm a saltaholic. I
Ooh.
don't honestly know if I can give up salt for 21 days.
Yeah, but salt is such a.
It's so
I've learned
hard.
that salt brings out flavors, though.
Yeah.
That's why salt is really good. Is that? Is
It's-
it really bad for you?
It's different
Yes.
for spice and to add flavor than to intake the sodium that's in the food. Yeah. If you really look at sodium,
There'll be different
sometimes,
ones that I can
Yeah.
definitely do. to
Yeah.
Who
challenge
says
myself.
salt's bad for you though?
it's
Does
bad
anyone
for
know?
you.
So many people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've always known salt's bad for
They
you.
High
say-
blood pressure.
They.
Now, I've been instructed by my doctor to intake more salt because I have low blood pressure.
Low blood. Okay. Or my blood pressure is on the higher end.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, it
if we
raises blood
already have
pressure.
like blood pressure issues and heart
I
disease
do.
in the family,
Correct.
increased sodium is not good.
Mine's too low,
Gotcha.
which is like rare, I guess. I don't
Like
know.
my
Well,
mom
you
has
need
high
more
blood
salt.
pressure.
Yeah, that's what my doctor literally instructed me to eat more salt.
Okay.
Yeah, my mom has high blood pressure, so I try to watch
Both
my
sides.
yeah
Both sides.
yeah.
All right, Mallory.
Okay. So mine is to post a new song every day for 1 full month, 30 days.
A new song every 30 days.
I'm writing enough to
Mallory.
do that right now, but
Okay.
I'm so terrified for people to see that vulnerability in me. Because if they were to see like half the stuff I'm writing, I feel like it's like I would be like standing naked in front of everybody. That's really what it feels like sometimes. So I'm doing the work. I could do that, but it's really hard for me. Like I just posted a song on Facebook that was not like finished at all,
But it was good.
but people were like they enjoyed it. So I think just putting something out there that's not perfect, that has a lot of flaws, like just accepting who I am as I am.
So you're a singer.
I'm a
Yeah, she's pretty good.
I'm
She's
a-
pretty good.
You're a singer.
yeah, I'm a writer more than anything else. I enjoy writing and playing my guitar.
I feel like writers have really good voices, though.
You're a good friend.
Yeah, or singer songwriter. But
Yeah.
do you have 30 songs in the chamber, or you're gonna
yeah.
like every day
I
you do
write-
nothing but write songs? You don't work, or
I write every day. So when I come home, I have a routine usually where like today I've already written 2 songs. And that's just
Wow.
normal for me.
wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I'm not like showing people. Like
You
my
don't-
camera roll is just full of them.
You
So
don't
I'm
share
so
this
weird about
side
my
of
phone.
you with me.
Oh, with anybody, Sarah.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. But
I'm
that's
always learning about you.
Yeah.
Last week it was Nick Lachey.
Oh yeah, I showed you that picture. Hey,
Yeah, you did.
But yeah, I don't know. I think it's just it's hard for me to. I like to put on this really tough girl exterior, but like when I'm writing my song, it's my therapy, and there's some really real stuff that comes out, and that's kind of how I navigate my emotions. And to be able to showcase that and show people what I'm experiencing is really hard for me. But if I can do that, then I can do anything. I feel like.
Wow.
It's great.
So if I did that challenge for myself, it sounds something very similar to this.
Yeah.
The lyrics in this,
There's
amazing.
barely any.
I mean, listen to them.
Music's there.
What would you replace the lyric with?
I don't know. Tequila. You can't replace that. Whiskey.
Diverse
Everybody. Tequila.
Whiskey.
No, that's awesome. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a lot. That's why I was just like, that's
I'm
a
gonna
lot.
get this back.
And you should.
And I have enough in my camera roll to do that right now. It's just being transparent enough and being open enough and not caring what people think, which is what brings me back to my original point.
Are you
Okay.
giving it to me?
Yes, I'm
'Cause
gonna give it to
taking
you.
it. I'm
Okay.
taking it. Mine's in the center for anyone to take.
Okay. I'll take it.
Yeah, you should.
Okay.
All right.
Because I'm her dad. I'm going to hold her accountable no
He
matter
does all
what,
the
so.
time.
True. All right, Brian. Let's hear yours.
Okay, mine's just, I will try to be nice.
Wait a minute. You're nice all the time. You're one of the
And
nicest.
you signed it Dad.
It's literally, you're one of the nicest people I've ever come across. You've
So
healed
confused.
so much
I'm so
in me
confused.
because
I
You've-
did sign it, Dad.
you've
Like seriously.
helped me regain
Dad.
faith in people. So that's a bunch of ruckus. That's no.
No.
And then he said
hey,
try.
It's a front.
Try.
It's a front.
You saying it's a facade.
So if you're not nice, you can say, "Well, I did try. I
yeah,
just wasn't."
I know. And what did I say in a previous episode according to Yoda? Do or do not. There is no try.
I wrote that down. Do or do not. There is no try.
That's right. Okay, I will be nice.
Yeah.
You are
Change.
nice.
You are. You are the nicest human.
very
I
nice.
know.
No,
That's
you
why you're
guys-
the
yeah, you guys
sister
are
I never
biased.
had
You
because
guys are
you're
biased.
so. Because girls are so nice.
Girls are bitches. What are you talking about?
And we can be.
We can be.
I mean,
but-
I have
Wait till
gotten a
Becca gets on
a
the-
few late night phone calls with Dad of him bitching.
Oh, I would.
I have a
no.
voicemail that I
So
will
that's why
cherish
he
till the day
signed
I
it
die.
Dad. That's for you.
Wait,
I
you
will
had
be
that
nice.
voicemail? What did I
have
say?
that voicemail. Mallory, pick up your phone. And, if you're gonna be part of this voice,
You have to be
it's
reliable.
hilarious. It's not mean at all. It's hilarious. This I don't accept because you are nice and you exhibit that every
Totally.
day.
Totally.
You can't do that.
Oh shit!
It's gotta be real. I don't accept
You have to
that.
do another one.
This is like
Yeah.
Promise
Yeah.
I
Keepers.
said.
I've got,
Yeah.
I have to write another one. How about I just say it? Okay, something I'll promise.
You get to hold us accountable, so
I will stick to my exercise routine, thereby keeping my health in check.
okay.
Great. That's
okay.
good.
That's
Okay.
good.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
So you want mine?
Yeah,
Right, you
Amy,
guys need to
hold me
switch.
accountable to switching,
I have to write yours out.
sticking to my.
Amy, I'm so sorry. When we asked you to be a guest on this podcast, I never knew it would be that involved.
I'll promise I'll be more emotional.
Is that another promise, Dad?
No, I can't. I can't. Like, well, I am emotional. I just don't see it. just not allowed to tell you. I'm a dad. I'm not supposed to be.
Hey,
No, it's true.
I don't like that.
I know. I've struggled with that, to be honest.
That's something
Like,
we should
I've
talk
never
about.
felt like I should be emotional around my kids. Like, I got to be the strong person, blah, blah, blah. And it's only been recently that I've been able to do that. So, and not like, I'm not like boo hoo hoo emotional,
No,
but just more like expressing my feelings. And
which is healthy.
yeah, but it's just hard as a dad because, when you talk to your children and they're just looking to you for guidance, it's like, well, these are my problems. I'm not going to put those on my children. Like
Yeah.
they're still learning life and growing. That's the challenge of a parent, is really not being able to express your feelings. That's not their job, is to listen to you. You have to go do that elsewhere with your partner, maybe your parents, but not, I don't know. Yeah, that's how I feel with children anyways.
Which I can appreciate that.
Yeah.
I mean, Sarah probably both.
I've been emotional around Sam. Yeah, she's seen me in quite a few.
Well, you're a mom.
Yeah.
I do
Yeah.
think there's a mom and a dad difference too.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh,
like
100%.
She's had to hold me on the ground a couple times crying, just stuff I've been through.
really.
Yeah.
Geeta's the same. Like my girlfriend now, she's definitely a mom and definitely more emotionally involved with her children. And I'm just like, well, I'm the dad. I guess that's the balance of
Yeah,
moms
yeah,
and dads.
I agree with that.
Dads are really
Yeah, I
important.
can see
I
that.
do believe in that. But
Yeah.
All
anywho,
right.
wow. Okay.
Okay.
Knock that off.
All right. Well, that was a good exercise. That's a good exercise.
Yeah, and I think if you listen, it's a really good exercise. Do a card.
Where did you get those cards?
Alex Sheen.
So
Yeah,
that you-
it's
okay.
on their website.
Okay.
Subscribe for $400.
I think I can't remember if they're free or not. I think
The cards?
Yeah, weren't they free?
They were free for us.
I mean,
Yeah.
he doesn't even have a website, so.
Yes, he does. Yeah, it's right there because I said I would. .org.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah, you can get on there and do it. Yeah, where it says promise cards.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Does he charge you?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, that's good. Well, good for him. And that's
It's a
even better.
nonprofit.
Yeah.
So
Even better, but he's filling up a stadium on there. That looks good. Because I said I would. Well, which makes me think of a promise that I made to a certain other guest here that's been a silent guest, and that's Pumpkin, the golden retriever. I promised him I would take him for a walk yesterday. I didn't. And the only
He is
walk I
looking
took
at
for
you
him
like
today
he's mad.
is walking to the office from my place. I mean, he's a suburb dog, and he gets to experience downtown, which was super fun. But
He got a little sweater on.
Pumpkin.
Cute.
He's so cute.
Yeah, boy.
No, Pumpkin.
all right, enough. Don't give
Okay.
him too much attention.
I'm
He'll
sorry,
get
I'm so
spoiled.
sorry.
Oh my gosh.
So, all right, we have a guest, and we need to have what we'd like to do is have our guests talk about their things. And my sister Amy is a wonderful person, beautiful. Sarah, you're lucky to have Aunt Amy.
I
Mallory as an
am.
adopted
I am.
daughter in the family.
I'm adopted.
That's your Aunt Amy.
And she calls me Auntie, and I think that's just, I've always wanted to be called Auntie.
Oh,
I do.
I love it.
So
It's just
sweet.
random. Like, I didn't say, call me Auntie.
I demand it.
So Amy worked in long-term care for a million years.
Yes.
Before then, recently got her dream job as a teacher, which is a whole nother subject and I think is awesome. But we're going to talk about long-term care because we've talked about healthcare issues, mental health care, all that kind of stuff, which long-term care deals with both mental health and aging and what that does to, caretakers in that environment. So, yeah, Amy, so one of the things that you mentioned earlier is, when you go home and you're working sometimes even 10-hour days, like it's not even a 8 and skate kind of thing. You kind of get involved with the patients. How does that
What do you mean,
work?
with teaching? Or
No,
they
we're
were 8
talking
hours?
about the
long-term care.
long-term
Okay.
care, right?
Okay.
Or do you do 8 hours and just like I'm out?
In long-term care?
Yeah,
No,
that's what I mean.
absolutely not.
So you worked long hours.
Yes.
Why?
Because there's never enough hours in the day to get everything done that you need to get done. So if we're talking about the management side or the nurse on the floor side,
Probably nurse on the floor / management because aren't you always or both?
I mean, a nurse,
you
a
experience
nurse on the
both.
floor is a manager, but I was also in management where it was salary position Monday through Friday, supposedly, but you're on call
Do the nurses on the floor work just 8 hours and then
12
go home?
hours.
4,
hours.
3 12s?
3 12s a week.
Okay, all right. So they're working 12 and they're working then a 40-hour week.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. So, and 12, So a nurse is 7 to 7:30, whether it's P or A, 7P to, because you have to have a half an hour to give report, to count narcotics, things like that. So, but then you give report and count narcotics, and then you're finishing your work up from. So my daughter was born with me working long-term care. So she always knew when I said I work 7 to 7:30 that I would be home about 9 p.m., normally. So it was never, ever, ever just 12 hours.
Right.
And there was one time I was mandated to stay until 11 a.m. and I had to be back at 7 p.m. So I had to go, I was working night shift then because I did work
Right.
night shift as well in my career. This is my 29th year as being a nurse. So that's kind of
Wow.
exciting. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a long
It
time.
is a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in my career, I've done a lot. I've only had 3 jobs, 3 like places of employment, but the nursing home, I did long-term care for, as a nurse, 21 years. I've been in long-term care 25 years.
And the gamut of care that you have to do is dealing with wounds, wiping butts,
Everything.
showers,
Yes.
mental illness,
Yes.
everything. And how does
Psychiatric
that?
patients, very, very ill patients, cancer patients, hospice patients. People do not realize what and everybody, it hurts me so bad when you hear somebody say, I will never put my loved one in a nursing home. I'm never going to a nursing home. It's not yes, they have a bad reputation, but it's because of the ratios that the state nursing homes are funded by Medicaid, which is a state funded monies. And so the state dictates what we do and how much they're going to pay. And so the state says one nursing assistant, STNA, now Ohio says CNA, certified nursing assistant, can have 15 patients to 1. 1 to 15 is their ratio.
Wow.
No, there's no acuity figured into that statement. So you could
What's
have
acuity mean?
acuity is how hard it is to take care of that patient. They could be a person that requires 2 people to lift them. They could be a patient that requires constant care every hour. Or they could be a patient who kind of takes care of them. So, but it doesn't matter. That CNA is allowed to have 15 patients to 1. For a nurse in long-term care, the state says you can have 50 patients to 1 nurse.
What?
Wow.
That's
So,
insane.
and that's what the state says is okay. Now, some long-term care facilities do not do that. They say, oh, we're not going to do that. But they have, and I was part of that. The one I always tell my students, the one I always remember was it was 7P to 7A. We had 84 patients, 80 in the whole house. And we had 3 nurses scheduled on night shift and 1 called off.
So you were still within the state
So I
requirement.
called the director of nursing and I said, so-and-so called off. And she said, okay, so you are still within the requirements. So I had 43 patients by myself as a nurse, passing medications, making sure. So that's why it hurts me when people say, I'm never going to put so here's what I say to that person. Put your loved one in a nursing home, but be their squeaky wheel. Because the person, and it's sad to say, but the person I'm going to take care of first is the person that has a squeaky wheel. Because I don't want to deal with, I know that John's family is coming in at 9 a.m. So I'm going to make sure that John is well taken care of. Charlie has no family. He has nobody. So I'm going to get to you, Charlie. I promise I will. However, you're not my priority because John has family coming in and I know they're coming in. Do you see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So the squeaky wheel gets the grease, sadly. So if you have an advocate and you have a person, that's what my daughter is. And that's what your daughter is going to be. And that's what I tell her. I say, Mom, I know I'm going to be your squeaky wheel. I know, Mom, because I don't care. Put me in a nursing home. Go ahead. But I will have a squeaky wheel. And when they hear, my daughter would never wear high heels ever. I love you, Callie, but I want her to wear something that they will hear her coming. Oh no, here comes Callie. Is Amy dry?
Which she could put spurs on.
She could. She could do so. But I want them to know Callie's coming. And it's like, Amy, you better make sure that Amy is looking good, because here comes her mean, bitchy daughter that's gonna. Because trust me, families are sometimes harder to take care of than the patient. So, so long-term care is very, very hard. I've
Well,
said,
and then you yourself. So when you're done with that shift, or Callie's done with their shift, or whatever, like, what's the come down? Like, what was the biggest thing that would affect you mentally, that I think would affect your mental health now that you can reflect back on it?
did I do everything that I could in my power to take care of that patient?
Do you feel
Did I?
all of the nurses there echoed that sentiment?
Absolutely not.
Really?
100%.
Which
sad.
then fosters the I'm never going to put my parent in a
Well, yeah.
nursing home because of
And
that,
now
right?
it's even sadder because the pay is really good. You get paid more in a nursing home than you do in a hospital. And
Wow.
and it's because of they have more responsibilities. However, people are now going, oh, I can make $45 an hour in a nursing home as a registered nurse. Okay, I'm going to go do that. But then I'm going to do a half-assed job, and I'm not going to, I'm going to do the bare minimum, which one story that I tell a lot. And again, I was the nurse that didn't do that. So it took me 6 hours to do a med pass because I was looking at everything. And so just a very short, like, to try to get you to understand what I'm saying. I just did like an as needed position. After I left the nursing home, I went to another place and they said, can you please just stay on, it's called PRN, like as needed. I'm like, yes. So I went and worked one Saturday, and I went to this patient, and her order on her chart said flush PICC line every shift. And there was initials. So I got my stuff. I got the syringe and everything. And I went in to see the patient, and I said, hi, I said, I'm Amy. I said, I don't normally work, but I'm just here. I'm going to flush your PICC line. And she goes, what? She goes, I don't have she goes, you mean the thing right here, like that I used to have? And I said, oh, you did? And she goes, oh, honey, they took that out the day that I left the hospital. I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize that. Okay, well, thank you. And so I went out to the medication administration record, and her PICC line had been flushed for the last 5 days.
Oh, really?
Wait a
And she didn't have one. So
That's
so
Medicare fraud.
So the nurse who initially did her skin assessment when she got admitted from the hospital, I guess thought that she had a PICC line, and so she wrote an order to flush her PICC, and every nurse initialed it that she did it.
Oh my God.
Where me, I read what I'm initialing, right? Like, I'm not going to initial something that I don't know if that. So oddly enough, the nurse that did the initial assessment, I saw who it was, and she was there that day. So me, of course, I said, Amanda, I said, why, a different Amanda. If my friend Amanda's listening, it's not you. But I said, why? There's an order that says to flush her PICC line, and you're the one that did the initial. Really? I could have sworn she had one. Oh, huh. I'm like,
Wow.
wow. Okay.
Negligence.
So that's just like one small example.
And how does that affect you? So and I think we've talked about this on the podcast with Sarah's position and Mallory's position. Like, that has such a toll on you because now you know
Yes.
Yeah.
whether intentional or not, that miscarriage has happened,
Yes.
fraud has happened,
Yes.
like all this stuff has happened. That takes a toll on you mentally.
Yes.
It does.
100%. It takes a toll on me for my patient, who a lot of times does not have a voice. I was a wound care nurse. Wound care certified, and I was a treatment nurse at one time. I worked Monday through Friday, 8 to 4. And there was a bandage that I had change every day. So when I came in on Monday, my bandage was on this person. Because I always, on my bandages, I put the date and my initials, right? And so I went in to do her dressing change, and it said, that Friday date, AB, I think my initials were then. And I was like, oh my God. And so I went to the treatment record, and of course, it was initialed both days that it was done. So it's just stuff like that. It's like, so if you don't do it, it's okay. Maybe you had a bad day. Maybe you had a busy day. But don't lie and say you did something and didn't do it. Right?
So how many years did you work in long-term care?
As a nurse, 21 years. I worked at the same facility for 21 years.
And then what motivated you to keep going? Only What? Well, I'm not going to answer you.
Yeah.
So, what
I-
motivated you to keep doing it?
And a lot of people say, "Oh, how could you have been here for 21 years? Oh my God, how did you stay?" And I think just because it's all I knew, it was convenient. It was close to my house. Then I started getting relationships with the doctors, with the lab, with the pharmacy. I started knowing people. So I'm thinking in my head, why would I go somewhere else to have to meet all new people, all new doctors, because I guess long-term care was my only, like I thought as an LPN, I was an LPN for 17 years until I got my RN. But, and my mom would tell me, as an LPN, you're never going to make what you're making there if you go get a brand new nursing job somewhere else. You're going to have to go to another nursing home to make equally what you're making there. So I was like, oh, I'll just stay. In 5 years, turned into 10, turned into 15, turned into, so I just stayed. And that's what I did. And I probably still would be there had not an opportunity came up. I never was looking for a job.
But always in long-term care. Because what I would say is my observation, and I've been to, being your brother, I've been to your place of work, and even one time she called me up one night, like, you got to talk to this patient and say you're Dr. So-and-so, which is also fraud, but I did it because it was kind of funny.
Right.
Just for the patient to take their meds, right?
Right.
It was like literally to convince
Yeah.
the patient. She wasn't going to listen to a nurse, or the patient wasn't going to listen to a nurse. So it's like I had to fake like I'm the doctor that I'm going to tell her to take the meds. But anyways, and I just felt like you enjoy doing the care for patients.
Yes. I love. I would say at heart, I'm a geriatric nurse. I love geriatrics. I love old people who they see your face. Even an Alzheimer's patient recognizes faces, right? So I'd come into work and they're like, oh, you're here. Oh, I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad, so, and just when they pat your hand and they appreciate what you do. And I just loved it. I love geriatric nursing. So.
I mean, you're a saint to do it.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. Takes a special kind of person for sure.
It does.
And then, so now you're in this vocational school teaching kids, which the experience that you had is just such a valuable, asset to them, I think.
It is.
To give these young kids, and they get excited about doing those kinds of things. I mean that's high school.
Right.
So it gets them into that. And don't they graduate with an SDNA?
Yeah. After their junior year, we get them their certification to be a certified nursing assistant. And then their senior year, they can choose to do an internship or stay at school and get their CMA, which is a certified medical assistant. So we offer those credentials at our school. So, and I'm in charge of the internship program for the seniors. And I have students that work at Dublin Methodist, Grant, Doctors, and Riverside. So I get to go to these different hospitals and see my students in action, and it's just a beautiful thing. So now it's kind of full circle. I'm teaching, and I get to teach the future, who I hope I can teach some work ethic like I have. Like, we're not in it for the money. I tell them day one, if you're here because you've heard that nurses make good money, you're right. Nurses make good money. However, it's not something that you can do to make good money. You have to be able to like humans. You have to be able to put your issues to the side. And when you talk about mental health, it's like I tell my students to put your problems in your car and shut the door and go to work, and then go back into your car when you get off work, and your problems will still be there. I guarantee they're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
It's not going to help that patient. We're taking care of people at their worst, right? Sick people are not fun to take care of. They're just at their worst, and they don't need our stuff on top of their worst.
Yeah, you have to almost take on a role of super empath and say, like, what if that was me there? I would want someone to treat me this way.
And again, you're taking care of families. You're taking care of loved ones. You're taking care of the patient. You're taking care I mean, I literally once had a doctor say to me, because I develop relationships with doctors, and one doctor said to me, Amy, why are you always happy? And I said, Dr. Harris, I will say his name. I said, Dr. Harris, because I'm not. And he's like, what? And I said, because no one needs to know why. I said, I'm happy because that's what brings my patients happiness. I mean, if I walk into my patient's room and I'm like, oh, oh, my boyfriend and I fought all night last night. Like, I mean, they just don't need to know that. So I'm going to come in here. I'm going to be happy. And I literally had a student text me probably a couple weeks ago, and he said, Miss Murray, I took your advice, and it was so precious. He said, I lost my dog yesterday, and I put that feeling in my car because I was so sad, but I knew I had to go to work. He's one of my interns. And he said, I knew that I just had to go be good for my patients. And he said, and I went back and opened my door.
Kudos.
Yeah.
'Cause
And he said, I
So
really
great.
took your advice, Miss Murray, and it really helped. And I said, good. I'm happy for you. I'm glad you did that because
that's a keeper.
It's
That's-
so yeah, and it's so good that you're doing that with high school age when their brains are still forming anyways.
Yeah.
So like that's
Yeah.
a great
the frontal lobe isn't fully developed.
It's
Yes.
a challenging
Yeah.
age group.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's good. Well, I knew you would always bring perspective. I know you have some good funny stories. With all
I have
this.
so many good funny stories. So many.
Well,
one
can
of
we
my-
end
one
with
of-
one? Yeah.
One of my favorites I always tell is one of my patients, his name was Fred. I won't say his last name, but he was Alzheimer's and he talked like in monotone. He would say, I'm going to kick your ass. And we're like, no, Fred. So then we start talking in monotone back to him. We're like, no, Fred, you cannot do that. Well, I went to give him his medications and I was very, 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 very pregnant. I was probably 9 months. I don't even know. So my belly was sticking out. And I went into his room and he started kicking and hitting and I'm not going to take those medication. And I'm like, okay, Fred. So I went and got a CNA and I said, you have to come in and help me give Fred his medication. And he was also hard of hearing. So he had to like talk like this in his ear. So the CNA went in and she said, Fred, you have to take your medicine. Look at her. She has a baby in her belly. And Fred quickly responded, it is not mine.
That's great.
And I was like, I'm well aware of that, Fred. However, you still need to take your medication. But he said it so like, he was like, it's not mine. Like, duh. And I'm like, and then so we were all like, I wonder how many times Fred has said that in his life. Like, it's not mine. So why should I care?
He must be used to
So you
saying
can-
it. That's why he's
You can still hit and kick me because it's not yours. That doesn't make it
That's
right,
awesome.
Fred. So
That's
yeah, that's
awesome.
one of the funny ones.
That's so funny.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on, Aim.
Thank
That's
you for
good.
having me.
We'll have you on again. 'Cause
I
they're
appreciate
always
it. Thank you.
add so much fun to it.
Yeah, thank
And,
you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
You're welcome. It was good meeting you. One of my notes I took, Mallory is great.
Oh, yeah.
And I put
Anytime.
Katie is amazing. So if Katie, if you're
Katie
listening.
Yeah,
last
you and
guest,
Katie
yes.
would get along
Yeah, like-
so well.
And another
Yeah.
note, this is my notes I took from the Katie podcast. My art is worse than yours, Sarah. I want to see the Thanksgiving picture. I need to see the Thanksgiving picture.
Oh, the family
Oh.
picture.
So I'm talking about visuals.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
Mallory is great. Family doesn't always have to be blood.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. Katie's amazing. I wrote do or do not. There is no try. I love that. And the last but not least I wrote is when you were talking about tattoos.
Yeah.
You also told your sister that tattoos were trashy
Oh, the
because
hypocrisy.
I know. I'm
It's
such a
very real.
flip flopper.
I had one tattoo on my ankle, and Brian and I had our daughters in tap together, dance, and we had a recital. So I was walking Callie across the stage, and I had a tattoo on my right ankle, and I had a dress on because it was the recital, of course. And when we got done, Brian was like, "Yeah, so you walked across stage, and your tattoo was showing. That's so trashy."
Oh my God.
And now
I will try to be nice because I said
See
I
there.
would.
So try to be nice.
Why? I never saw the side of him at all.
But he's my brother, so he's allowed to say something
I
like
know.
that. And I was
So
like,
trashy.
so trashy. You have a tattoo. That's so
Wow.
trashy.
Yeah. And now I have tattoos. They're classy.
But
though.
now we love them. If they have
Yes.
meaning, they
Yeah.
have
They
meaning.
Yeah.
do.
Right.
I
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
All of mine do.
Yeah.
And your dad's tattoos are awesome.
Yeah, they are really cool.
Yeah.
They're so good.
For someone who didn't like them.
right.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, they got to be good. It's art.
Oh, now it's art.
It used to be trash.
Yeah.
All
Awesome.
right.
Thanks for coming in.
Well,
Yes, thank you for having me. Sorry if I was long-winded.
No, not at all.
You did fantastic. You really did.
Thank you.
So thank you guys for joining us for another episode of Subject to Change. I'm Mallory.
I'm Sarah. We'll see you in 2025.
And I'm the monkey in the middle, no resolutions.
All right, but everything
Is fine.
fine.